G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. This is part of N4C, Nilly's Apartment Cup 4, but not really Nilly's Apartment Cup 4 because this is AoE 4 and N4C is AoE 4, Nilly's Apartment Cup AoE 2. Anyway, let's talk about who we've got playing this game today. Spawning in on the west side of the map, we've got Casper playing as the Chinese, and his opponent on the opposite side of the map, we've got the one, the only, the infamous, the famous, the handsome, the talented, the beautiful, the Don. Beautiful Don Artie playing the Abbasid dynasty for us. And I was actually just saying before we hopped into this game, isn't it so amazing that just such a small little change for the Abbasid dynasty means that they're picked as a first pick in a tournament game? And this is like, we are very deep in the tournament at the moment, or at least in the qualifications for this tournament. So N4C, it's a big tournament that is being run by Nilly, and he is going to be hosting an offline event over in Germany. And I'm going to be over there casting it. So I'm quite literally going to have my little feet on the ground in Germany saying, "Das ist mein Hamburger." Sorry, I didn't pronounce the "my" perfectly. It's actually mine. "Das ist mein Hamburger." Okay, there we go. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be saying. And yeah, I'm going to be there on the ground, and Don Artie vying for a spot in there. Casper also vying for a spot there. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly how far into the tournament this is, but this is quite deep in. So potentially the winner of this even going through to the tournament. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to see how that goes, but let's talk a little bit about these build orders, about what we've seen so far. So Don Artie opening us up with nothing but villages, and we can see he's got 7 villagers on the food, 3 villagers on the gold at the moment. Looks like he's going to be sending out a 4th villager to his very interestingly placed... did he cancel a berry bush there? I feel like he might have. That was kind of weird. His House of Wisdom. Now, one of the things to note is with the Abbasid dynasty, the House of Wisdom. Now, the first thing I was thinking, like, is if you're going to place the House of Wisdom, just chuck it here on the front. But you got to remember, okay, you've only got the 2 landmarks. You lose the House of Wisdom, you lose the town center. That's it. It's all over Red Rover. So Don's obviously thinking a little bit, you know, ahead of time, and he's like, well, I've got to try and put it as far away from my enemy as possible. That's why he tries to keep it on the backside here. But now it looks like he is going to begin expanding out towards the lumber camp, and you can see he's got not a lot of food left in here. Don really needs to be a bit careful with this. So one of my main concerns, he manages to click up. Okay, now obviously there's no decay in AoE 4. And as a result, it means that you can sort of predict how much food you're going to get. So he's got 80 left, so he's gonna have enough for a while, but probably gonna be ending up going idle here. We'll check back in with him a little bit later because we've got Casper on the other side of the map. 1 scout out up towards the north, 2nd scout down towards the base, and has obviously got plenty of sheep out here. Got the Imperial official out as well, and that Imperial official doing a beautiful job just supervising that mill. Still yet to gather up enough resources to age up, but has actually gone for a gold mine. Now, to me, this indicates Casper is not going to be thinking about really booming too hard. Might just be going for a fast castle, something similar. I'm actually quite curious to see. Maybe he goes for a fast dynasty. I think that can probably work with something like 3 villages on gold. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Don's going to be able to do. You can see he's actually... okay. Yeah, he's just gone to berries. It makes a lot of sense heading out to berries as the Abbasid dynasty. So talking about some of the buffs that the Abbasid dynasty have received in the most recent patch. So Don obviously going up with the economic wing in the, or up to the 2nd age. This has been reduced. So it used to be 2 minutes. Now it's 1 minute 45 seconds. So a 15-second reduction. So if you're thinking about doing like a fast castle, that's a 30-second speed improvement. Not too bad. Now, in addition to that, talking about speed, you've also got these little bad boys down here, these berry bush gatherers. They actually hold onto 3 more resources than normal. So you can see these guys down here, when they get up to 10, they're going to return their gold. Whereas our berry bush boys, or girls, they're going to go all the way up to 13 before they return, and then they're going to drop it off. So it just enables them to, basically they have like a pseudo wheelbarrow on berries specifically. And that's just part of the bonus that the deli have got, because as you guys know, berries are the deli's, well, sorry, did I say deli? The Abbasids. The Abbasids' favorite food in the world. But Stone Mine now going to be coming down for Don Artie. So Don Artie looking to play a little bit in towards his win condition. And this is something I've talked about before with the Abbasid. I really feel like their only win condition is town center booming. I don't think they've got any real other play that they can make. Obviously, there used to be a play back in the day, back when Springolds were the bomb, and we saw those beautiful all-ins that the Mister actually pioneered, where he would just go for those man-at-arms, Springold timing pushes. It doesn't really seem like it's a viable option now, just simply because Springolds aren't as oppressive as they used to be, and men-at-arms, well, people have learned how to counter it. In fact, people have even learned how to counter Spring Lords by the end of it. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was still pretty bad, though. Imperial Academy going up for Casper right in the middle of his base. A pretty decent one here. Unfortunately, can't really get any better than that. But interestingly, yeah, his second woodline's a little bit far away. So you can see for Don, he's got woodlines on both sides of his base, whereas Casper's just kind of got them towards the front, and it's a very open woodline as well. Like, this one here really doesn't give you a lot of walling options. But we'll tune in with Casper. We'll see how he's doing, because he's got a lot of resources in the bag. Definitely looks like he's thinking about going up to that Castle Age or going for a Barbican, and then that is indeed what he's going to be doing. So looking to hit that Dynasty. Don, on the other hand, going to be dropping down that stable. Now, I'm curious whether Casper's actually seen this, but even if he hasn't, it's not going to be a big issue, because a single stable out from an Abbasid player, it's not a matter of particular concern for Big Don, but he's got all the resources he needs now to drop down that second town center. Force drops off, has already got the stable going down, so he's going to be fine to begin transitioning into that as well. You can see he's got enough. Look how tight this build order is. This is an absolute beast of a Don Artie build order. Early on, I noticed that his sheep was running very low, but obviously he transitioned the villagers over towards a berry bush and a mill. That's pretty impeccable timing when you consider that he got the lumber camp right as he was clicking up. So really nice timing. Now dropping the second town center very close to the first town center, keeping a nice compact base here. So very nice for Don Artie. That second town center going to get completed. Now we'll take a look over at Casper. So Casper in the Song Dynasty, not in the Tang Dynasty. It's lying a little bit there, a little bit tangy. We're actually in the Song Dynasty right now for Casper, because he's got the Imperial Academy as well as the Barbican of the Sun. Now I'm sure you guys know, because you play a lot of China in your team games, but the Barbican of the Sun plus the Song Dynasty. Just look at that little, is that a graphical glitch right there? You guys see that? Let's investigate further. What's going on over here? Yeah. It's like, what's that whole thing about, you know, if you look at something, it performs different? Oh, I think that's quantum mechanics. Quantum entanglement, perhaps? If you observe something, it behaves differently to when you don't observe it, and the reason we know that is because if you put a mirror down and observe through the mirror, it doesn't happen, but when you observe it without the mirror, it does happen. I think that's it, but I'm not sure. That was a... Okay, alright, that is the first tangent of the game. Let's see how else we go. Who had quantum entanglement on the... Who had quantum entanglement on the score sheet or the bingo sheet for tangents this game? Not me. So congratulations to the winners. Don now already beginning to push out as well, looking to expand out onto this hunt. Obviously not going for professional scouts. He feels like he's in a pretty decent position here, opening up with cavalry. You can see he's actually got the triple cavalry already out, or the triple horsemen already coming out, heading towards Casper's base. Casper with the village already down here. Going to be looking to isolate that wood line, force them off, and they actually go inside the the village. I didn't even think about that. I was wondering where he was going with them. It makes perfect sense. Obviously, the consequence of putting this village down here is that it's not going to be able to fire off those arrows. So you're always able to bait out or take out a few more cavalry units that way. But it looks like he's not even going to need to. Nice little defensive wall going to be coming up here for Casper. I do like this. If there's one good thing about this wood spawn, it is the way that it has spawned here in the middle. But an archery range going to be coming out now. He's going to have access to the Chokunu. Going to be quite a strong unit. My main concern for him is that the Chokunu are going to be especially ineffective against the Horsemen. Actually, you know what? It's probably not even that bad now that I think about it. So, Chokunu, 4 damage, Horseman, 2 armor, but it does 3 shots. So, essentially, it's doing 6 damage. That's not too bad, considering an Archer would be doing 5 with plus... or would be doing 5 minus 2, so it would be doing 3. So you basically got 3 versus 6 damage. So I take it back. It's very effective against those units. But we'll wait and see how the game continues on and how that is affected. But we'll take a look now at the village account, see where they're at. So we've got Casper, who's sitting on 34, yet to add in a second town center, and not looking like he's planning to do it either. Compare that over to Don Artie, who's on 39. So a little bit of a lead. Don now beginning to move back in again towards the villager line. Chokunu going to begin firing off towards these horsemen. These horsemen getting very close underneath the town center here. Actually going to be able to pick off a couple of these Chokunu before they begin to build up a sufficient mass. But now going to be having a camel come out. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen a lot of camels recently coming out from the Abbasid. It definitely seems to be a favorite. Even just getting 1 or 2 out really seems to help them. But yeah, typically it's very rare to see camels out, well, because they're a unique unit to the Abbasid dynasty, and we barely ever see the Abbasid dynasty. But it really seems that we are seeing not only a resurgence of the Abbasid dynasty, but a golden age for the Abbasid dynasty, because Don Artie, of course, he's in a golden age. He's T1. Okay, that was pretty bad, Drongo. But also going to be looking to drop down a battering ram, looking to batter down the hatches over at his opponent's base, and we can already begin to see Casper's beautiful walls. Now, I played against Casper a number of times, and there's one thing that stood out to me. It was walls. I remember this one game that I played against him. It wasn't... I think it might have been Dry Arabia, but it was a bit of a weird spawn for Dry Arabia, and he just walled the entire map. So he was playing the English. He was doing that wall strategy. You know when you get the stone walls and you put the longbows on top of the stone walls? I remember I did like a fast castle playing as the Chinese, and I got a siege tower out, and I had like a whole bunch of palace guards up on top of his walls. And then, if I remember correctly, he deleted his stone tower, so I couldn't get down. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I'd have to go back and review the records. I'd have to review the records. But a nice mass now beginning to build up for Casper. Now, interestingly, his spearmen are being buffed up, or his barracks is being buffed up by the Imperial Official. But I'm aware that the Imperial Official has actually been nerfed in the most recent patch, but wasn't noted. So a little bit of a change. But take a look at the villagers now coming out. Huge amount of these horsemen running in, trying to prevent the villagers from coming out. And you can see the spears getting a beautiful surround here, forcing them out. Chokunu beginning to fight and push in. Wonderful trades there, taking out the entirety of the camels. Looks like the battering ram going to get chased down as well. Don Artie not looking pretty at this point in time. But keep in mind behind this, Don is a happy camper because he's got that 2 town center boom going. So whereas his opponent at the moment sits on 1.5 town centers, Don Artie is on 2 town centers. And you might be asking, Drongo, what do you mean 1.5 town centers? He's only got 1 town center in the middle of his base. Where's the other half? Well, the other half, my friend, it is in his dynasty. So he's reducing his villager production time by 35%, my friends. And that is going to help him out a huge amount when it comes to creating villages. But Don, on the other hand, he's got 2 town centers. So he is making twice as many vills, but just not as fast as his opponent. But now, this push continuing to come out. Don looking to be under quite a significant amount of pressure. My main concern for Don is just how strong these Chokunu are. You can see they've got the +1 upgrades coming through. Don, on the other hand, yet to get a single upgrade at all from his blacksmith, and yet to even drop down a blacksmith. So that is definitely a concern for him. You can see he's actually managed to gather most of the food that is around this open front, but a lot of food resources around the base for Don. And you know what I love? Just despite this being, not Lipany or Highview or, Hill and Dale, a map typically with more berries than normal, Don still goes for the Abbasid. I think it's absolutely awesome to see. But now it looks like Don going to be aging up. Is he going to go for the military wing? He's going to go for the culture wing. Interesting. Typically, I like to go for the military wing just because it lets you get that extra 1 armor. But a little bit of a waste of units right here from Don. A lot of spears coming out as well. I don't think there's any real way that he can engage this army. Don Artie going to be trying his best and manages to fall back. We'll take a look at over how Casper is doing. He's got some beautiful walls that have been put up here. A lot of gold in the bank at the moment, but just not a lot of food. So really yet to expand out. He's got villagers back behind here. No professional scouts at this point in time. So he's going to have to move out towards those hunts if he wants to win this and if he wants to secure that food. Now up towards the north of Don's base, a push continues to come in. A lot of Chokunu sitting out here, beginning to be massed up. But it does feel like at this point in time that Casper realizes he's probably going to need to age up. At least it feels that way. I don't know about you guys. He's making units like ham. And these guys are still being supervised as well. You can see the double supervisor in here. So essentially, he's got effectively, I think it works out to be about 2 archery ranges, 2 barrackses. So it's not a huge amount anymore. It used to be 3. The production bonus would work out to be the equivalent of 3 for each one. So you'd have, 3 barrackses or 3 archery ranges, but now it's only 2. So what am I talking about? I'm just talking about those numbers that the Imperial Official put out. So not quite as big of a buff as it used to be. But we'll check in with Don. We'll see how he's doing. He's sitting right now on 67 villages, very close to a nice number. In fact, we'll have a look in about 5 seconds, and then we'll see how many villages he's got, because I've got a sneaking suspicion that it might be extra. Nice. Where did it go? He was making a villager out of 2 town centers. Did he lose a villager when we weren't looking? Don, what are you doing to me? You can't be giving me 68s, mate, when I'm expecting 60... Whoa. Well, you gotta be careful, Drongo. You don't want to get cancelled, my friend. Don't let the world know that you and Don have got a love affair. But now it looks like the push beginning to come in. Don obviously hitting the 3rd age. Do we see a siege workshop coming down? We've got a market coming down instead. No siege workshop at this point in time. Looks like a lumber camp is coming down and an outpost back here to try and defend, but my main concern is obviously there's a huge amount of infantry back here, and the double outposts that are going to be looking to defend are just going to have such a difficult time going up against that battering ram. Chokunu now continuing to move in. We're going to take off the we're going to take off the UI and watch as the villagers continue to get mauled by the Chokunu down towards the south battering ram, as well as those spears going to be in here. If Don wanted to, he could really come in here and cause so much damage, and a little bit of a misplay, honestly, for not doing it sooner. I think Don realizes now, and as well as his opponent, Casper, going to be realizing it. Difficult fight. You don't want to really be taking this fight in amongst this. The spears are always going to come out on top just because you want to be fighting your spears up against these horsemen, and it looks like they're going to be able to get in a nice little bit of a choke point here. If I'm Don, I'm probably even deleting these buildings if I want my units to get in on top. Don trying his best to take out the majority of the spears, but these numbers are looking very, very healthy for Caspar, and he looks like he's in a bit of a tough situation. Don now coming through with what looks to be veterancy. Yeah, veteran horseman has come through, still got normal archers, and actually going to be able to clean this up. That veterancy timing is absolutely perfect. Men-at-Arms also coming in on the mix, and it looks like the Chokunu from Caspar are going to be going down. Battering ram here does remain, but all of the forces here are going to get cleaned up, and Don Artie doing an absolutely beautiful hold. Well played, Don Artie. Very well played. On the other side of the map, it looks like Caspar now going to be clicking up to the next age as well. Going to be dropping down his astronomical clock tower in the base. And continuing to expand out. We can see a second town center going to get dropped down from him. At least I think that is the first of the secondary town centers. Indeed, it does look like it is. So now the two town centers going to be able to push his economy into overdrive. We'll have a look at how many villages he's got. He's sitting on 66 at the moment with 10 military population compared to 70 villages and 29 military population. And Don is heading towards his base. And now we are about to find out how a player like Caspar is going to be able to hold on in a game like this, because he is behind significantly. He needs to get units out yesterday. He manages to get up to the next age. We can see he doesn't have anything in production for his astronomical clock tower at this stage. And a lot of units now moving towards the front of Caspar's base. He's got 3 villages inside the town center, 5 villages now looking to hold on. And Don's definitely got the numbers advantage, but the question is whether he's going to be able to take out and really pay a significant amount, or whether he's going to be able to deal damage to this town center and punish his opponent. You can see all the spears getting down now. Men-at-Arms going to be moving forward here as well. Chokunu are on the back line. They've got 5 damage going up against the Men-at-Arms 4 armor. So they're going to be doing 3 damage a volley. And now we've got ourselves another push coming in. The Men-at-Arms continue to funnel in absolutely beautifully. I'd love to see a mangonel being made out on the field. I alluded earlier to a siege workshop that Don Artie might be dropping down, but that's probably not going to be the case just simply because he doesn't need to. He is playing the Abbasid dynasty, whereas China, they're not going to need to do that either because they've got the astronomical clock tower if they want to get any of that siege out. But more men-at-arms continuing to run in, and it looks like a pretty decent hold coming through here for Caspar. Fortunately, he's not on top of the production of Caspar. If he was on top of this production, it would really be difficult. But Caspar is able to sort of sit in this nice little point here. You can see he's popped out all of his villages now. He's probably going to be losing the majority of his units on the front line here, but he's still managed to hold on just simply because he's had production throughout the fight and has sort of built up this nice little bit of mass of crossbows as well as Chokunu. We'll check in with Caspar, see how he's doing. He's sitting on 74 villages at the moment. Not a lot of resources in the bank. Compare that over to Don, who's sitting on 80. Very close when it comes to their economy. The main difference here is the military mass and military might. So I'd love to see just a single mangonel coming out here would be very, very effective for Don, or probably a battering ram would be even more effective. Just imagine this entire time that they've been fighting, if a battering ram had been hitting at this town center, you would be able to neutralize those 700 resources very, very easily. But now in the middle of the map, it looks like Don has begun his expansion. A mosque is coming down on this gold mine. So he's going to be looking to secure up both relics as well as sacred sites, and doing a little bit of scouting up towards the north. You can see a lancer going to be coming out with its very limited line of sight, trying to scout out and see exactly what's going on. And a little bit of a camel. Is Don shift queuing these units? No. Weird. They look like they're running the same route. That was a bit interesting. But Don managing to pick up a wolf on the way through. And he still manages to hold out. So at this point in time, if we were to give an advantage to either player, it would... Oh, it's so hard to call this one. Don at the moment is sitting on 2 town centers. At least that's what I think I can see. I'm always so, bad at counting town centers. He's on 86 villages, 2 town centers. up against the Chinese, who is sitting on the 2 town centers as well, 81. I'd probably give the advantage over to China at the moment, just simply because they held on. Also, the keep is going up, so Chinese late game is going to beat the Abbasid late game at the end of the day. They've just simply got much more tools that they're, or much more tools, many more tools. They've got more tools that they're able to use more effectively than the Abbasid dynasty is in the late game. So things like the Palace Guard plus Nest of Bees plus Bombard combination, incredibly difficult to deal with as the Abbasid as well. And I expect that we will continue to see that as the game progresses. Of course, we've also got the Fire Lancers, which are notorious for just tearing through buildings. So that is also something that we might see. When it comes over to what we might see out of Don in the late game, option number 1 is that we're probably going to be seeing a lot of men-at-arms out. But he doesn't have particularly strong men-at-arms. I mean, realistically, he's got a couple of unique technologies that are in here. Things like boot camp. But realistically, that's about it. The other option is camel support. But it's not really giving you much. It's giving you, 15% health and a little bit of extra armor. Not really going to make a difference when it comes to those big fights that are dominated by siege. And that's what I expect that we'll continue to see. So we'll see how Don manages to go throughout the mid game. When it comes to his unit composition, I suspect it's probably going to be quite rounded as we sort of see it now. But as it trends towards that Imperial Age, there's going to be more and more archers and spears added in, and he's going to be looking for that very basic trash composition, and then going to be mixing in his springalds, his mangonels, everything that he needs. But now Caspar looking very happy with himself. Obviously got the keep down, so he's going to be in quite a good position. Main concern at the moment for Caspar is food. Doesn't seem like he's got a lot of it. Second keep up towards the north as well. Going to be securing up these 2 golds. He really needs to make sure that these golds are safe. And now a 3rd town center coming down for Caspar. Caspar, I'm not sure if you've done the math on this, buddy, but just to give you guys an explanation at home. So you've got 2 town centers, 2 villages every 20 seconds. 3 town centers, 3 villages every 20 seconds. Well, the thing about the Song Dynasty is it makes it so that you've got 3 villages every 13 seconds. So it's the equivalent of actually having 4.5 town centers. You're already on 100 villages, man. Or, yeah, 100 villages. Like, you don't need to make many more villages, and a 3rd town center here, sure, it's going to help you out. I don't know. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve. Who knows? Yeah, I guess something can be said is if you do get raided, having a 3rd town center, you're going to be able to not reimburse, but you're going to be able to rebuild, retrain those villages faster than if you were to just have 2 town centers. So that's something that can be said. I guess the other thing is that there doesn't really seem to be a lot of military out on the field. So Caspar could be even thinking about going up towards 150, 160 villages. He's already got the double keeps down. Doesn't have a lot of other keeps out at the moment, or at least doesn't seem like it. Yeah, he's only got the 2 keeps out. Is sort of giving over map control to his opponent, but at the same time, I don't think he's particularly worried about it. He's got the 2 gold mines that are available to him. This one's still got plenty of resources in it. Down towards the front, he's got a very nice safe entrance. He's always going to be able to fall back towards this. I don't think he's particularly worried about, his opponent pushing in and doing too much damage. So maybe, who knows, maybe that is going to be the way that he elects to play here. Don now going to be looking to get up to the next age. And one of the things to note is Don is aware of this keep. And as a result, when Don sees a keep, he thinks one thing. He thinks bombards. And you can see that he's macroing for an age 4 at the moment. So 108 villages, 64 military population. Got to keep up of his own. But I really wouldn't be surprised to see a forward siege workshop come out, maybe about right here, maybe a little bit further back, and a single bombard come out and begin to work down this keep. Looks like age 4 going to be coming through now. We'll take a look and see which wing he opts to go with. I suspect it's probably going to be the military wing. When it comes to the trade wing, I don't think he really needs gold at this point. He's got plenty of gold down here. He's got more than 10,000 gold just over here. He's also queued up the gold towards the north. You can see another keep going to be going down in a large gold vein. So he doesn't need to worry about trade. So let's have a look. He is going with the military wing. He's got a couple of other options when it comes to his tech, but the most important one, it's going to be boot camp. It's going to be camel support. This is really going to help out his mass on the front line because he does have camel supports or camels mixed in here, even though it does only seem like 1. So it's going to be very easy to take that bad boy out. It's just a single camel rider. These guys aren't particularly strong either. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of them, but who knows? Maybe we will see them coming out in the late game. And look what we've got down here. We've got ourselves a little bit of an old-fashioned outpost race. The oldest race that there ever was. Before there was the 100-meter sprint, there was the 100-meter outpost race, which it looks like Donati loses. So Caspar winning the outpost race, you know what, he probably would have won anyway, even if it wasn't for the crossbows that came out, just simply because he's playing the Chinese. He builds defensive buildings 50% faster, and that is going to help him a lot. Now we'll take a look over at how Casper is doing. 133 villagers, so he's continuing to add in those villagers. You can see he's actually got... They train so fast. He's got none in the queue at the moment. But my main concern for Casper, yet to really secure a lot of farms. What upgrades has he got? Okay, he's 2 out of 2. And he's also got the wheelbarrow, so he's absolutely fine on his food. I think Casper's in a pretty good position, honestly, at this point. He's stabilized despite having a smaller military. Don Artie, on the other hand, he's sitting at pretty close to population cap. I don't know exactly what that is, but he's sitting very, very close to that. We're going to be seeing that forward siege workshop coming out any second. There it is, not so forward. Now, he's actually got access to the Culverin, and the Culverin might actually be a viable option in this matchup. He's opening Culverin. Bro, okay. I would be opening Bombard, but you know what? That's a conversation we can have another day, Don Artie, and we can talk about that another time. But now it looks like Casper going to be pushing in towards the wood line of Don. Don just going to have to be evacuating the villagers up towards a northern wood line. You can see he's already got that wood camp going to be going down as we'll get our UI back in. And Casper now looking to give him the old runaround, the old GUA runaround, as we like to say, from AoE 3. Don going to be coming back to meet him. You can see all the military units out for Don. He's going to have plenty of upgrades coming through. We'll take a look and see what we've got. So we've got the elite crossbowmen. We've got the elite men-at-arms coming through. A lot of big upgrades right there. And now Don, got to be careful. His villagers are back here. He's got 121 villagers. So you know what? He could probably lose a few. You can see he's got plenty of resources in the bank at this point in time. And now Don manages to get the elite upgrade. So we compare it over to Casper, who looks to be throwing away the majority of his trash at the moment. Now going up with the Spirit Way. We don't actually see where it is at the moment. But he's going to get completely cleaned up out the back here. There's no real two ways about it. Where is that Spirit Way? I want to have a look and see where he's gone. He's gone for it back here. Okay, so could be going for a stable spam. That's something that we do see for players. And they will go for... So essentially the way you want to do it, you put a stable, you see here, put one stable here at this corner, one stable at this corner, one at this, one at that corner. And then, so you basically make it like a... I gotta be careful not to say it, but yeah, like, it's kind of like a star. It's a weird little formation, but it's a very cool one. And it's the way to get it most effectively. The most effective coverage is to do that. But Trebuchet now going to be coming out for Casper. He's going to begin sieging down that keep. We'll check in with Don. Don actually coming out with 2 Culverins, so let's take a look at the stats on these bad boys. So these are 85 damage with 200 versus Siege. So they do 285 damage in total. So they're not going to one-shot a nest of bees. They're not going to one-shot, they're not even going to two-shot a Trebuchet. So they don't do a lot of damage. In almost all circumstances, you're better just to go the cannons or the bombards. But I think up against the Chinese, it's probably quite a worthwhile investment to go for the Culverins. Culverins now going to be unpacking, getting their shots off. You can see Culverins have turned their attention towards the outpost, and Don's now going to begin pushing forward. Now, one thing I would love from Don Artie to do at this point in time is do a little bit of the walling. You know, I know Don is a big fan of the no-wall challenge, but I think in this scenario, it's probably a good idea just to secure up your backline, really look to get in, you know, some stone walls, look to get up. Honestly, just even the normal walls are going to be fine just to delay your enemy. But ideally, you want to start taking space. You can see that Casper's already done that. He's begun securing up space. He's got plenty of line of sight down here because he's got that second landmark up. Is he sitting in the next, sitting in the Yuan Dynasty? I think he might actually be sitting in the Yuan Dynasty. Sorry, guys. I've got to get that off my screen. Don now looking to actually come in and take out a whole bunch of infrastructure here. He's... behind this, we've still got more and more units that are streaming in here for Don Artie. Bombard now going to be making its first shots shortly. Here she goes, unfolding on the keep. And we do have boiling oil coming out for Casper. Casper is in the Imperial Age. We can see the crossbows yet to be upgraded. There they come through now, the elite crossbowmen. So they're going to be on the back line, very happy. On the front line, he's got veteran spears yet to be upgraded just yet. We'll check in with Casper. We'll see exactly what his production looks like. You can see a whole bunch of crossbows coming out. He's got elite spearmen on the way. He's also got roller shutter triggers coming through. Plenty of springlords also looking to come out through the clock tower. But keep in mind that clock tower has been nerfed, and this right now is the exact moment it has been nerfed at. So you're not going to be able to get out those super duper high health springlords. If you want to get them out, you're going to need to wait, and unfortunately no supervision of this landmark is possible anymore. He's also doing the roller shutter triggers at the landmark, which is a big no-no, just because it's using up valuable production time. But no mangonels at this point in time for Don. So Don looking pretty decent. But at the same time, I would really like to see a Mangonel or two come out for Don. It just helps out weakening this force so much more. You can see they're all sitting on full health. Mangonel shot or two is going to come in. And Don now completely capitalizing here in this situation. He is looking incredibly strong. And we will continue to see him beginning to push in. He's got a second bombard that's going to be coming out up towards the north. It looks like his outpost does scout out the keep from his opponent. He does see the gold mines that are back here, but still no walls coming up from Don. So even though this game looks like it's in the pocket, you always got to be so careful of players like Casper. Casper is the kind of guy, he plays it until the very end. That's one of the things I've noticed about Casper. He won't play a game until it is over. You know, like, in Dota 2 or League of Legends, you often get players on your teams, and they're like, oh, you know, the game's over, just forfeit, just surrender, and it's like 2.5 minutes into the game. Casper is not that guy. Casper plays until his Nexus is dead, until his Ancient is dead. Casper is there, he's playing, and he is trying every single bit he can to win, and definitely the Yuan Dynasty is indeed coming in at the moment. It looks like Don actually just going to start sieging down landmarks all over the place. Town centers have gone down. It looks like the second town center going to get focused out here. A couple of crossbows now moving forward. It looks like the siege going to be going down. Don Artie a little bit out of place right now as the huge force of crossbowmen is coming in. Sacred Site getting neutralized in the middle over towards Don Artie. He's going to be a happy little camper with that one. Plenty of resources in the bank for him, but at the same time, a lot of resources in the bank for Casper here as he now begins to push out. Springled on the back line, going to be looking to tee off potentially on that Culverin. Not a lot of health on it, but now we've got the incendiary arrows as well. So he's doing 18 damage with the plus 11, so 29. Indeed, the Springled manages to snipe out the Culverin. And it looks like Casper actually going to be able to survive as these men-at-arms continue rampaging through the base. Don Artie having an absolutely easy time trampling over the base of his opponent. Now going to be looking towards the villages. If we have a look at the military count, 37, but 150 villages now for Casper. Casper, that is a lot of villages, my friend. Now, obviously, if you're not sitting at max population, that's fine. But as soon as you hit max population, you got to start deleting some of these villages because it gets to a point, it gets to a certain point where it's just not viable to have them. Down towards the south, Don looking to secure up the first of the sacred sites and really look to push his agenda. Are we actually going to be seeing an Abbasid victory today? It is, I don't think we've ever casted an Abbasid victory on the channel. So I'm looking forward to it, Don. He's bringing it home. Bring it home, Don. Keep going to be going up. Now, I would be very adverse to this. I think this keep is a very poor position, just simply because the bombards are so close. They're not even going to really need to, do much. They just sort of unpack, move themselves over. By the way, look how slow they're going. Oh, I love it. It's such a good change. Fire Lancers! Oh, no. The Fire Lancers are out. The Fire Lancers are here. They are elite. They are already upgraded. They got the 2-2 upgrades. We'll take a look over at the Blacksmith. I'm going to see if I can find it. There it is. The plus 1, 2, or 3 yet to come in. Bombards firing down on that Springled. And now those Fire Lancers are coming out. This is where I'm starting to get a little bit concerned for Don Artie. As you can see, the damage that comes out from those Fire Lancers. A great job here. No spears on the front line for Don. He's going to need to get them out. These Fire Lancers have taken him somewhat by surprise. 22 damage for Don's crossbows. 22 damage now for Casper's crossbows. These bad boys are hitting hard. 95 health versus 95 health. I think they've got exactly the same stats with the exception of armor. But now a lot of these Fire Lancers are beginning to move out. Casper actually looking in a pretty decent position. My main concern is the lack of gold that he's got. Still yet to secure any real strong gold mines. Has obviously managed to put that keep up down towards the south. A couple knights down here for a raid. But it does look like all the sacred sites have been captured now. I'd love to show you guys the sacred tracker where you can see the timing that is the time that's remained on the sacred sites. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You can see 3 out of 3 there because if you couldn't count the sacred sites on the map, we've got them up here for you just in case. So for all of our friends out there in kindergarten, we got you covered. But now it looks like Casper going to be in a continually difficult spot. Despite this, his score is somewhat still holding steady. I don't know exactly how he's doing it. I would suspect it's probably just the very high villager counts. He is whittling down his opponent, but now Don looks to be mixing in. Am I seeing hand cannoneers or am I going crazy? I thought I saw a hand cannoneer coming in there. Be very surprised to see hand cannoneers. I just don't think Don's got the gold for it at this point. And now Casper, you can see he's got absolutely no resources. Villagers just continuing to die. Is this good game for Casper? I'm starting to feel like it might be. Don's looking incredibly talented, incredibly good at this point. No walls still up at this point, but you can just see the economy behind this, how strong he's looking. He's got all of his upgrades in. Let's take a look at the unique upgrades that he's got as well. He's got all of the unique upgrades in as well. He is a very happy camper at this point in time. Bombards, look how slow they're rolling in. This is the change that I wanted, and I'm so glad to see it. So bombards much lower than they used to be. Another keep going to be coming down here. Going to be able to stall out for a little bit longer, but I really don't think there's too much that he's going to be able to do up against Don. So an absolutely insane early game that we had. A wonderful mid game. A little bit of a lull in the late game as players made their way towards Imperial. But once they did, Don definitely got the steamroller out and started driving very, very hard. Now we'll take a look over at Casper. We'll see exactly how he's doing. He has just completely been decimated at this point. Not a lot of resources left for him. And, yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just sort of wondering why he isn't resigning. The Imperial Palace is going to be going down. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it really just comes down to the fact that, you know, Casper is that kind of guy. He's just going to try and fight it until the very, very end. Sacred Site victory, I've got no idea how long we've got on that, but I would expect probably maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not too sure. Actually, it wouldn't be 3 minutes. We would hear the gongs. Listen out for the gongs. If you hear the gongs, then that's where it's going to, that is where it is going to count. But now it looks like more landmarks going down. We'll head over to the landmark tracker. You can see Casper is on 5. He's gone from 6 down to 5 landmarks. And we've got 2 landmarks remaining for Don Artie. It looks like down on the minimap, we've got ourselves... Oh, my Lord, it's happening! Oh my God, I just swallowed. Casper's sniping. This is it. This is actually it. I don't think Don can get back. Don can't get back. Don was taking his sweet time. It's the base trade of a century. Oh my Lord, look at the size of it. That's what she said. Look at all the villagers that have come in. They've been brought in as well. We've got 150 villagers in here. It looks like 50. We've got the 50 fire lancers. They're coming in. Don Artie is trying his best to heal this up. You see Don bringing in all the villagers as well. We'll quickly check and see how much wood he's got. He's trying his best, but not enough wood. That's what she said. That's 2 in a row. 22,000 health on this bad boy. This is where you need to have your villagers, Don. You can see he's got them over here trying and dancing as hard as he can. Now the elite lancers coming in. Is this the base trade to save the day? Is Casper actually going to be able to do it? Is this the ancient for Don Artie going down? Is he going to be losing his nexus here? Because it potentially looks like the first one is going down. The 2 towers have fallen, and now the fire lance is going to turn their attention towards the town center. And unfortunately, it looks like Don Artie's going to lose. I don't think there's any way he can hold on. There's no animation canceling here. I can confirm there's no animation canceling, but he's not going to need it, as Don Artie going to be losing his 2 landmarks, and the game is going to be over. Casper is the winner. What? Oh my Lord. Don Artie. Oh, Don Artie. Oh, Don Artie. You poor, poor Don. You poor, poor Don.